Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Resolve Use Case series. In these series, these past couple of Thursdays, we've been covering automations that you as an organization should absolutely consider automating. We've covered employee onboarding, employee offboarding, password reset, and resource provisioning. Today, I'm here with our exciting list of speakers to talk to you about IT incident auto remediation. Before we begin, just a couple of stats again to kind of quantify the impact of downtime for you, right? An average organization, it costs about 5,600 per minute every minute that their digital service is down. And for a larger organization, it's closer to 9,000. With that, I want to kind of introduce our speakers for today. We have Gabby and we have Derek. Gabby, do you want to quickly introduce yourself for the audience?
Absolutely. Thanks, Mirinda. So I'm Gabby. I'm Chief Strategy Officer for Resolve. I joined almost 2 years ago. Prior to that, I was a co-founder of a company named IEO in the IT process automation space. But, just taking us a little bit kind of to my early career time and where I was actually running IT operations 24/7 command and control room. And my experience is really kind of bringing lots of excitement to this topic. So happy to discuss about that.
Thank you for joining us, Gabby. Derek, do you want to talk to the audience about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Brenda. So my name is Derek Pascarella, and leading up our sales engineering here in North America, and happy to be on with you, Gabby, and you, Brenda. And as the title suggests, sales engineering, so I get to see all kinds of exciting things that different prospects and customers are looking to do with automation at large, and specifically with our solution. So look forward to doing our product demonstration today.
And I'm Brinda Sridhar. I'm head of product marketing here at Resolve. And I am very, very excited to have you both on our call today. Gabby, I want to start with you. You have many, many years of experience in IT, and I think I wouldn't be wrong to say you have hands-on experience, right? In the past, incident resolution meant having a skilled workforce that followed a standard procedure. And now that doesn't scale. How do we mitigate that cost that, I showed in the first slide?
Yeah, correct. So Brinda, as I mentioned, in my early career days, I was managing NOC, a team of 24/7, 365, getting 2 a.m. calls every night. And that was a nightmare. And I have so many scars on my back due to that. And no matter how good were kind of the workforce, or I had like a very well-defined IT procedures, and the playbooks were tested, and you cannot avoid the human error or the limitation of obviously the workforce who are working 24/7. The slow response, right? The potential of losing 1 minute, as you mentioned, like the loss of like $5,600 per minute. So you can't afford it, right? So no matter what you do, really, you have to kind of think about changing your way towards like these procedures, and automation is the only way to make it work for you, right? So obviously you can really scale your IT organization, you can scale your business without really kind of finding a way to do it without the current workforce. So you can keep up hiring people just to keep your kind of SLAs up and running. So basically you need to think about the change, and the change is actually automation.
Yeah, and Gabby, we were talking about this yesterday too, and you kind of summed it up for us in one word, and you said speed. It's all about speed. How soon can you diagnose? How soon can you fix it?
Exactly. Correct.
And in your past, since your past role, you've now kind of moved on to the business side of things. And I wanted to touch upon this. What are some key KPIs that you you look at and you track that help IT measure the effectiveness of their incident management?
There are many, but I think, I'll put the most important KPIs, to my opinion, that everyone should measure and have in front of them. But obviously, there are so many other KPIs and metrics that you should consider as well. But I'll start with, obviously, system uptime, what we call the 5 nines, right? The SLAs. This is one of the most important items for the business and for yourself. Measuring your system uptime, measuring the service levels and the quality, okay? Performance issues that can actually degrade the application performance and the business application. So I would say that this is one of the most important ones, system uptimes and SLAs. The second one is obviously very important, is the mean time to repair. But, before you actually be able to repair, you need to identify and detect. So we have MTTI for identify, right? And the second piece is really kind of to detect the problem and then to mitigate or basically resolve the MTTR piece. So this is another metrics which is very important to measure. The next one is obviously around the cost and efficiency. You do want to see over time a reduction in incidents and tickets and volumes that handle manually, okay? And you want to push as many of them to be more automated. So you can reduce your volume of incidents that are handled manually and create efficiency through automation. The second piece is obviously over time, you want to see the total cost of ownership goes down, drop, because you obviously kind of automating stuff that used to be manual. Now you can actually think about productivity and how you can do more with less. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you. That is very helpful because it allows for us a tangible way to think of improvements that you need to make or where you need to make.
Correct.
I have one last question for you. I want to help you. I want to help unjargon this. What is SOP and which ones do you think are good ones to be automated?
Excellent, question, because I think many people are not aware of this kind of term, because it's very important when you come towards kind of like automating stuff. So SOP is a standard operating procedure. Basically, it's a set of step-by-step instruction created by organizations. There are obviously ITIL procedures that you can have SOPs examples from, but this is exactly the things that you carry out like on a routine basis. So SOP aims to create efficiency, reduce failures like human error failures, create standard. Basically, you want to kind of to expect or like, to have a prediction of your output. So you do want to unify those procedures and performances. And at the end of the day, you want to meet your compliances and regulation, no matter if it's a company regulation or industry regulation. So those SOPs must be defined in order to be able to create automation. You can't really automate, procedures that are not standards, that were not tested. So you have to understand that, automation can amplify things. So if you automate a chaos, it will actually make it worse. But if you take a standard good SOP, over time, it will make it perfect. So you have to have those SOPs in place. However, you want to remember that whatever you have done manually, like, so you actually created like those SOPs for, your team, doesn't necessarily work as an automated one. So you have to be careful when you take those SOPs and you test them and you design them inside an automated solution, you need to make sure that works also under automated fashion.
Thank you, Gabby. That's very helpful for us to understand. And it's a great context. I think now I want to invite Derek to kind of show us one such example?
Sure. Let me share the screen here and we'll get started with the demonstration. So in the vein of talking about general, incident response, alert remediation type scenarios, we're going to look at here today an example of an alert stating that one of our on-prem hosted web applications is unresponsive or in a faulted state of some kind. And in this demonstration, we're going to watch as Resolve intercepts the alert in real time. It's going to rule out the possibility of a false positive. It is then going to take some diagnostic steps and ultimately lead us to a resolution, all the while keeping very good track of everything inside of our ticketing tool. So before I do that, I just want to show here what's up on my screen, the workflow designer view. And those of you who've been following along with our webinars here on LinkedIn for the past few weeks are very familiar, but just to touch on it here, really one of the huge, I would say, core competencies and big value adds of our solution is letting people get off the ground automating quickly. And it's achieved with really two key things. One is the visual designer you see up on my screen here, where essentially I can architect out any type of automated process directly within a canvas like this. But it's also achieved through a huge collection of pre-built integrations, activities, and all sorts of different things you would need to do to go from end-to-end automated process. And everything functions in a very, what you see is what you get type of way, where it's very visual, drag and drop, and intuitive. So you take, for example, dragging some activity from the toolbar on the left over here into the canvas. It's as simple as that. Clicking on the settings icon can reveal one or more different input fields to fill out. Click save, boom, you're done. And all of the sophisticated logic, decision-making, looping, things of that nature, all function in the same way. Or we can bring these various flow and logic controls here and drag them on into the designer, move things around as needed, and very, very quick. It allows IT professionals of all different backgrounds really to build automation within Resolve, not just those with programming and scripting experience. So without further ado, let's move on from this and show the actual demonstration. So what I'm going to be doing here in the background is actually creating this outage right here in our sales engineering lab, probably the lab with the most outages per hour anywhere on the globe, but we do that on purpose, of course. And once that alert is generated, which in today's example will be within Big Panda, we'll watch as Resolve intercepts it and actually starts posting bidirectionally back to the Big Panda console all sorts of updates of everything the automation is doing along the way. So our alert just got generated. Here it is. Now, back on the Resolve side, if I actually switch to my live dashboard, where I can see certain high-level KPIs and metrics, as well as a live running snapshot of the system, I'll actually see here under running workflows that the alert was intercepted. I can drill down in this audit trail view here for a more granular play-by-play of everything the automation is doing in real time. So there's total logging available right within the Resolve platform. And back over here on the Big Panda console, I can watch as my alert is going to be updated right here as it gets pushed over. And then our ticket is going to be generated, which we'll put right here into ServiceNow, which is our ticketing tool today. And it's going to let us know everything that it found out from Big Panda, the alert ID, the affected host, the type of alert. It even did things like properly link the configuration item and otherwise categorize the ticket perfectly. And now down here in the work notes, we actually get all of the relevant information, letting us know that we confirmed the website is in fact unresponsive. It's not a false positive. We were not able to successfully get a response from it like we expected. We noticed that the IIS service wasn't even running in this case. So for some reason, it was in a faulted state. We went ahead and started it. We could have potentially at that point restarted it. And our last step here was actually to check the different application pools. One of them was healthy, but our other one here was actually in a stop state. So we recycled it and brought it back online. And finally, our terminal step here was to check to see if we're getting a normal response from the web application, and we were. So Resolve automatically closed out the ticket, put some closure notes in here, and called it a day. And as I said, all of that achieved through this pre-built integration pack for things like ServiceNow, your Cherwells, your BMCs, Jira, and all of the most popular industry standard monitoring tools. that sums it up, Brenda. Thanks for giving me a chance to demonstrate this use case today.
Thank you, Derek. I saw Datadog, I saw Dynatrace, Easy Vista, some of those integrations in your in the workflow designer. How easy is it for somebody to get those integrations? If I have tools in my ecosystem.
Yeah, great question. So there's going to be a lot of the integrations already bundled in with a vanilla installation or present with a fresh SaaS instance of the product, as we offer both on-prem installations and Resolve hosted SaaS. But on top of that, we also have something we call our automation or content exchange, which is really almost like an app store for integrations and also use case templates where users can go in, search for the target application or system with which they'd like to integrate, download the content and import it directly into their instance. And like I said, that could be everything from, you mentioned, Dynatrace integration pack, or it could be, hey, show me an end-to-end workflow example for, something like we saw here today or some other use case altogether.
Thank you, Derek. That was very helpful. I think Gabby kind of provided a great context to this topic, and you nailed it with the product demonstration of just how it can be done for real. So for folks who are watching us, if you liked what you saw today, join us next week. Next Thursday, we have another example around the same topic, incident resolution and auto remediation. Thank you for watching us today. We'll see you here next week.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you,
Thanks,
folks.
everybody. Bye.